show. My name is Joao Fernandes. I'm the founder and CEO of Doc Digitizer, and I will be your host for today's episode of Automation Notes. So today we have an amazing guest, Juan from Mayasoft. So welcome, Juan, and thanks for being on our show.
It's my pleasure, John. Thank you for having me.
So for the people that don't know you or Mayasoft, can you share who you are and what you do at Mayasoft?
Absolutely. I am the digital transformation leader at Mayasoft, and my role mainly consists of evangelizing automation within the organization and to our clients. And there's also a little bit of a technical component to implement the solutions, but it's mainly evangelizing nowadays.
Fantastic. And what sparked your interest for this field? Because it's not something probably. Can you talk a little bit about your background and
Mhm.
how you end up working in intelligent automation?
Well, it's actually a funny story how we stumbled upon the world of automation. So Mayasoft was originally a software development company, and we would implement BPM systems for our clients. Now, this was before the pandemic, so many times we would actually go to our clients' premises to see their ecosystem and what we could do. And somewhere around 6 years ago, we ran into a client that had an army of industrial engineers whose entire purpose was just to work on an Excel spreadsheet all day. And engineering professionals, even if it is Colombia, come at a considerable cost. So that caught our attention and it got us thinking because they were spending a big amount of resources in such a routine task. And these guys were probably bored as well because they were doing the same thing over and over again every day. So we started thinking of ways to optimize that. And coincidentally, around the same time, there was this BPO company in the US that contacted us because they needed some resources for a project that they were working on. But these resources needed to know UiPath. We had never heard of UiPath before, so that's the first time that we discovered an automation tool. And from then on, we started studying and we started switching our strategy towards improving our clients' operation with automation instead of with a whole new system.
Which is amazing because I think 6 years. So the COVID brought a lot of speed to this field,
Absolutely.
and spark a lot of interest. And today it's like a trending topic. Everybody's talking about it, but in fact, uh, a couple of years ago they were just implementing BPM tools and digital workflows. So this kind of conversion to intelligent automation, I think it makes a lot of sense for you guys that are coming from the BPM field. Today episode it will be mostly about the future of work, which is also a very trending topic nowadays with GTP3 and all that stuff. So how would you define intelligent automation in the context of the future of work?
Well, I would say that in the context of work, automation translates mainly to two things. On one hand, we have improved productivity, and on the other hand, we're going to have an improved quality of work life. There's actually a book by Dan Brown called Origin, in which, by the way, spoiler alert, there's this computer scientist who designs an artificial intelligence model that can predict the future of humanity. And this model predicts that the human race as we know it is going to disappear. We're going to merge with technology and we're going to become a new breed of quote unquote superhumans that are going to use technology to be more efficient, productive, and live better. Now, this may be fiction, but I don't think he was too far off. I believe that in the future, most jobs are going to be AI powered, where we will be tackling the most challenging parts of a job and then leaving the boring, repetitive work for machines to do.
Which I think nowadays science fiction and reality they are merging. It's very frightening in a way because they are really merging, but yeah, it's like intelligent automation and having a new role on the company. I think it will be really a merge between machines and humans working together in different layers of complexities within the organization. What do you think? So the recent years brought a lot of advancements on this intelligent automation field. So
Mhm.
we are now much more than strictly RPA. Do you believe what are the main advancements um, that, that will have the stronger impact on the future of work?
Well, I can think of two of them. The first one is autonomous systems. So
Okay.
right now, because of the current state of artificial intelligence, there are many use cases where automation tools cannot handle 100% of the situations. So many companies today are doing what's called a human in the loop automation, where they have a human, support the automated systems to handle edge cases. I believe once we reach fully autonomous systems, that is going to change because these ones are going to be able to, operate individually. They're going to be able to make decisions and take actions without any human intervention at all. And then number two, you mentioned it before, it's large language models or LLMs. Uh, One of the popular tools today, ChatGPT, is built on top of an LLM. And the thing is that traditionally automation has been mostly focused on back office processes because these processes tend to be more standardized, they are more rule based, and they require less interactions with end customers. But I believe that LLMs are going to greatly boost the area of front office automation, and they're going to open a new wide range of possibilities of new processes to automate. So I think people should really keep an eye on that field because it is advancing very quickly, and I believe very soon we're going to start seeing a surge in commercial products.
And it's really impressive the work OpenAI did on GDP3 because it really we are currently using it on our daily tasks. So most of our employees at Doc Digitizer are using it almost uh, every hour to do all kinds of work. And I fully agree with you. I think it will really change the way people interact with companies, and it will have a huge impact on streamlining those processes from the outside to the inside of the organization. So things will become much more uh, probably easy to handle once they are captured efficiently on the front end. In your experience, what do you think are the critical skills uh, and competencies that the workers of the future should develop in order to really strive on this new era of intelligent automation plus future of work?
Well, I guess the number one answer to that question is technological literacy. Ideally, workers should be able to understand how automation tools work, how new technologies work, how they work on their own, together, and what their potential applications could be. That may be a lot to ask. So if you
It
cannot do
is.
all of that, you should at least be able to get comfortable working with them on a daily basis. That's number one. Number two, I think it is soft skills like emotional intelligence, effective communication, conflict resolution. Those are going to become increasingly valuable because in a world where we have fully adopted automation, human to human interactions are going to be much more important because they're going to be probably left for critical processes or critical decisions.
Yeah.
And also, there's this quote by, I think it is AI pioneer Andrew Ng that I really like. And it goes something like, the key to success in today's rapidly changing world is continuous learning. And this is especially true if you are in the IT world. Um, I believe that the ability to stay motivated to learn is key today, and it will be key in the future as well.
But do you think because uh, with GTP3 and the way you can nowadays
Mhm.
access information and learn, which I think also shift a lot from the common traditionally learnings that we had before. I think there's some kind of fear of missing out, meaning too much information that we want to grasp, but it's always there will be always updated information on the next day. So how can we keep up with this amazing flow of new knowledge? It's becoming hard, right?
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like that's always existed in the IT world. There's every day there's a new framework, a new language, a new advancement. I believe that as long as you stay focused on at least a field that you like and you get interested in that and you keep learning and growing your skills, you're gonna be fine. You don't need to know everything, but you should know some of it.
And I think technology, and you mentioned technology literacy, I think is a must when it comes to every single role in the company. So how can like, I don't know, a CFO or chief operation officer, how can, or a back office staff, how can they start? What are your advices for them to start learning more about technology, because they can feel lost in a way?
Well, in the context of automation, luckily, since it is a fairly new industry, the big companies in the automation field are doing events every day. They have email newsletters where they share with you any new discoveries. So in the era of information, it's fairly easy to go online and find experts on pretty much any topic that are willing to share their knowledge for free. So yeah, I think if there's a will, there's a way. If you really want to learn and you want to stay updated, you definitely have many opportunities to keep up with the world of automation.
Sure, and yeah, and you mentioned that you can start with UiPath, Blue Prism. I think Blue Prism launched a very nice foundation course on RPA. I think it was created by Ian Barkin. It's free, so it's like 3 hours, and it's certified. So you should have a look. It's on LinkedIn, and it's an amazing course for you guys to start. So, what new opportunities and roles do you anticipate emerging as a result of this new intelligent automation in the workspace?
That is a difficult question.
It is.
It's really hard to say because I think that new occupations depend not only on automation, but mainly on business dynamism. And what I mean by that is it doesn't depend as much on automation as it depends on what industries develop automation the furthest. It doesn't depend as much on automation as it depends on new business ideas that come from using automation. But if we talk about automation as an industry per se, I can tell you that there are currently many fairly new professions created around the intelligent automation tools. We have the automation solution architect, we have RPA developers, we have business analysts, and I think in the future, eventually we're going to need some new type of consultants that are going to help us deal with the issues of automation in the context of ethics, data privacy, security, etc. And as long as we continue automating new processes, new roles are going to be needed to support those automations, at least while we reach autonomous systems. That's in terms of new jobs. In terms of opportunities, I can tell you that there are now many companies whose main activity is developing automation systems, Mayasoft being one of them. Additionally, and this is very important, the main automation tools are low code, which has allowed many people without a technical background to start careers in IT. This is great for the industry because in the last few years there has been an IT talent shortage, and low code is helping close the gap.
Murphy's Law.
Absolutely, absolutely.
I
I think
said
that
that it will happen and it happened.
I realized actually midway through my answer that you were gone, but I mean, I finished. I don't know if we want to do that again.
Probably yes, if you don't mind. And
Absolutely,
hopefully
no,
this
not at
will
all.
not happen again. Okay, so, but, okay. So, what new opportunities and roles do you anticipate emerging as a result of this, the introduction of intelligent automation in the workplace?
Mhm. Yeah, well, that is a difficult question, and it is a difficult question because automation, I mean, new roles, the creation of new roles depends not only on automation, but mainly on business dynamism. So it is more about what we do with automation than automation per se. So it's not about automation, it's mostly about what industries are going to push automation the furthest, or what new business models or business ideas are going to come from the use of automation. But in terms of automation as an industry on its own, uh, there are today many fairly new occupations that are created around the automation tools, such as solutions architect, RPA developer,
Yeah,
automation business analyst, etc. And I think in the future we are going to need a new kind of consultant that will be able to address automation from a perspective of ethics, security, data privacy, and as long as we keep pushing automation and automating new processes, we're going to need new roles to handle these processes, at least while we reach fully autonomous systems. That in terms of jobs. In terms of opportunities, well, there are now many companies whose main activity is developing automation solutions. For instance, Mayasoft. And and this one is very important. We have to consider that the main automation tools today are low code. And this has allowed many people without a technical background to start careers in IT, which is great for the industry because over the past few years, there has been a very noticeable shortage in IT talent. And I
yeah.
believe low code is helping us greatly to close that gap.
And I think that you mentioned something which I think is very connected to my next question. You mentioned that um, intelligent automation is much more than technology. So I think Ian Barkin said, quote, something like, uh, "It's never about the bots. It's about the business and the processes and people." But and there's a lot of layers. You mentioned security, but they are strongly neglected nowadays in many organizations because they tend to see that an automation project is it's pretty much deploying technology. So where do you see organizations failing or struggling in deploying and adopting intelligent automation, and how does Mayasoft address those challenges and help customers to really adopt intelligent automation?
Well, yeah, as great as automation is, uh, there's a bunch of challenges to successfully implement automation. There's a widely known figure by EY that says that 30 to 50% of all automation projects globally fail.
Yeah,
And that's because there are many factors to consider. So you need to have the technical knowledge, but you also need to choose wisely what you're going to automate in order to have real impact. Um, then you need to worry about retraining your resources so that they can coexist effectively with the automated systems. Then you need to worry about supporting the automation, any compliance issues that may arise. And then you need to consider that you're going to have to change your automation if the process changes. So when you take all of this into account, it's perfectly understandable that companies are skeptical or even fearful of giving automation a shot. So what we do at Mayasoft is that we offer outcome as a service. I know that you talked about it in another episode, but very briefly, what
yeah,
it is we sit down with our clients and we help them navigate through the automation lifecycle. So we sit down with them, we look at their processes, and then we choose together one where we think we're going to see real results. Then on our side, on our end, we handle development, documentation, testing, deployment, and support of the automation. and we charge for all of that as a service. But the good thing is that we help our clients mitigate risk because they don't pay up until they see their solution in production. So as soon as they start paying, they start realizing ROI.
Exactly, and also you support them in understanding which processes have the better return on investment, which in many cases it's hard to spot for people that are doing the process because they are too much involved in the process. They are not able to even understand that the process can change, and in fact most of the times we need to change the process before deploying automation. Which leads me also to my next question, because you mentioned before that human workers and intelligent automation will work together and will be somehow integrated. Uh, but how can we create a productive work environment when these kind of two forces, which sometimes are opposite, when they merge? What are your thoughts on
Yeah,
this?
that is a great question. I think if you are a decision maker, there's two main things that you need to consider. First of all, you need to sit down with your team, and you need to define a clear automation strategy. So you need to think, what do I want this to do, and how is it going to help me boost the talent of my people? How is it going to make them uh, be better at what they're good at, or focus more on what they're good at? And then once you have that idea, once you have that strategy, you need to sit down with your people, with your employees, and you need to share that with them. And that's for two reasons. Number one is because that is going to make them more accepting of change. If you socialize your automation strategy, people are going to be more prone to accept it once it happens. And number two is because these people are doing that process every day. So they probably know their intricacies even better than you do. And they could give you useful insights on what to automate or how to do it better. So you get more results.
The when companies start to look at intelligent automation, they often focus a lot on cutting costs, which I think is like the quick win when implementing automation, which means in a way or another that people will lose their jobs. Um, I know that there's a lot of articles saying that, okay, you are not losing jobs, you are giving back hours to business. But long story short, there will be in one way or another in different uh, volumes, but it will there will be jobs that will be replaced by robots. So
Mhm.
how can organizations uh, really design a strategy to mitigate the impacts of this on their workers?
Yeah, that is one of the most controversial questions around the automation. So I have many ideas for this one, so please bear with me. Um, so first of all, we have to look at the numbers. So there's a study that was conducted by Deloitte in the UK that shows that while it may be true that automation tools contributed to the loss of over 800,000 low-skilled jobs in the last 15 years, they also helped create more than 3.5 million new and better paying jobs in the same period. So if we consider that study, automation seems to be a positive force in terms of job demand. Now, there's another study by the McKinsey Global Institute where they projected work displacement by adoption of automation in the period between 2016 and 2030. They modeled three different scenarios. In the one with the fastest adoption, automation is going to potentially replace 30% of the global workforce. In the one with the slowest adoption, that is going to be close to 0%. I think in reality, we're going to land somewhere in the midpoint of that. So let's say 15%. Now, first of all, that is in the span of 15 years. So we have plenty of time to prepare. And number two, in the same study, McKinsey also projected growth in demand of work from 2016 to 2030. And they projected that it is going to be somewhere in between 21% and 33% of the global workforce. So
Okay.
I guess the bottom line is that automation, while it may be displacing some jobs, it's creating more jobs than it is displacing. I think we have to educate workers and educate people about the role of automation. Many people today see automation as a rival rather than a tool, and it is because of this narrative of the evil robots that are going to take our jobs, which I
It's
believe
due
is
to science fiction because it's all
absolutely. It
there.
is great if you want to get like engagement on social media or you want to get clicks on your online article.
Yeah.
But I don't think that it paints a fair picture of what is actually happening. Um, Rather than jobs, it is activities that we can automate, and this is across the ladder, like at every level of the spectrum. There, every job or almost every job has a certain level of automation potential. And also, most jobs have a human component like creativity or empathy, and it is very difficult to estimate when we are going to be able to successfully emulate that with intelligent automation. So I guess another way of preparing ourselves for that is we have to start redesigning our jobs around automation. We know that it's going to happen, so better get ahead of change and start, thinking how we can use tools like Midjourney or ChatGPT, which already are changing the way so many people work, to help us be more effective at what we do.
And you mentioned before lifelong learning and citizen development programs are a very nice way for people to surf this wave and to start becoming um, more efficient by learning more about technology and blending technology into their job role, which I think is something that everybody on Earth, in a way or another, over the next decade, they will need some technical skills because it will be required to do any job. Uh, as this digital transformation landscape evolves very rapidly, what and you mentioned that 6 years ago you were not into Mayasoft was not into RPA. So how does Mayasoft stay ahead of the curve and provide solutions um, for customers that can be cutting edge, that can deliver innovation uh, over the next years?
Yeah, well, first of all, speaking on the note of yeah, we started only 6 years ago, and I think you need to get your hands dirty. At the beginning, we were a mess. We didn't know like where to start, and the solutions that we were implementing were not that high quality. So we needed to learn a lot, and we needed to build our center of excellence internally, and then we can loan that to the companies to deploy quality service. Uh, there are several things that we do today to stay up to date with the world of automation. We pay attention to events and seminars that are hosted by leading automation companies. We encourage our employees to learn automation tools or learn any technology that they want, as long as it is related to our core business. We have a group of people who are dedicated to AI research, and they organize presentations every few months for our technical and non-technical roles. Uh, and all of our departments have weekly meetings where they share, key takeaways, lessons learned, and any new useful tools that they discover during the week.
All of those initiatives, I think, uh, are a very nice handout for our audience because they can really implement those in their organizations and really bringing innovation from within and making sure that the people have the space to innovate, to test, to experience new stuff, and hopefully some of that stuff will come back to business and help you guys to evolve. What is your vision for the future of work, and how do you see Microsoft playing a role on that future?
Well, if I have to make a prediction, first I'm going to say that every repetitive task is bound to disappear. that there's no way around it. Even if we don't want to, companies are going to have to do it to stay competitive.
Yeah,
So that's an idea that we have to accept, and the sooner we accept it, the better prepared we're going to be. I think
exactly.
that some jobs, mainly the low skilled repetitive ones, are going to disappear, and there are some new jobs are going to be created, and we have no way of knowing what they are going to be. For instance, content creation outside of traditional media that didn't even exist 20 years ago, and today, if you go on Google search data of the past 12 months, you're gonna see that being a YouTuber or being a TikToker or being an influencer are amongst the most searched jobs in the whole world, especially I think in Latin America. Um, I have an optimistic outlook of the industry. I think we are going to end up by fully embracing automation. And what I mean by that is there are going to be incentives in the market for investors to look at automation projects and automation companies. Governments are going to foster automation initiatives. We're probably going to change our academic systems to consider automation tools so that people are ready to join the workforce and know how to work along automation. And what we're doing at Mayasoft is we are working hard to educate companies here in Colombia on the benefits of automation. We are providing them with the knowledge and we are providing them with quality solutions so that they believe in this industry and they help us grow it as well.
Awesome, amazing. Do you have any recommendation for our audience who are eager to explore more about this space, like a book, a podcasts, or some influencer, so they can gain more knowledge and insights about this field?
Yeah, I think there's this course by Andrew Ng that's called AI for Everyone that I believe every IT person and every decision maker of IT companies should take. It is mostly oriented towards artificial intelligence, but I believe that it translates very well to intelligent automation. Also, if you have the time, I think you should participate of the UiPath chapter of your city or country. We have meetings, meetups, or video conferences every few weeks where we discuss the relevant topics in the world of automation, any new developments. So that's a good way to stay up to date. And finally, I would say follow Mayasoft on LinkedIn. We post interesting facts about automation every week, both in English and in Spanish.
Fantastic. And this is my last question. How can our audience reach out to you and Mayasoft?
Well, if you want to reach out, you can send me a message on LinkedIn, or you can find us at mayasoft.ai or on our LinkedIn page as well.
Fantastic. Juan, hosting this episode was really a pleasure to me. I'm very excited for the partnership between Mayasoft and Doc Digitizer. So thanks again for chatting with me and for being on our show.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thanks for tuning in to another episode of Automation Notes. This is a podcast about intelligent automation with a lot of insights. We hope that you found today's episode helpful in navigating this world of digital transformation. Automation, as you could guess, is a game changer, driving innovation, efficiency, growth. And I hope you can apply some of these lessons learned and have a positive impact on your organization. Don't miss our future episodes of Automation Notes, and please subscribe. We are in LinkedIn Live, in YouTube Live, and also on your podcast platforms such as Anchor and Podcasts. So I've been your host, Joao Fernandes, and this has been Automation Notes. See you next time.